hat, brother. You look as good as I do. And that's saying something, brother.
I need all the help I can get.
Awesome, man. Yeah, well, get that Kong coffee, and everything will be good. We'll have.
What do we got going on, man?
Well, we got you, brother. We got you going
Cool.
today, man. That's how I got to thinking this morning. I'm like, hell, we don't even know really much of anything about my brother Wetz and what his story is. And I'm thinking, man, after 10 years in the house, he's probably got something pretty awesome to say. So I figured we better do an issue, and we better do an episode that revolves around my brother Wetz. And, I mean, this is going to be good. You can tell people how much the Kong family has transformed you, I mean, what was it? You were like 5'4"?
I was 5'4" and uglier than the Dickens. Now I'm 6'8" and I'm 6'8" and I'm 6'8". I didn't get any better looking, but I'm taller. You know what I'm saying?
Actually, I disagree, brother. I think you're as handsome as can be.
Hey, you just settle down and let me go with my self-deprecating shtick. Hey, that's a part of my story. That's a big part of my story. What's up, Wild Man Nelson? Cog and Tree Topper.
How's it going? Good morning.
We got our resident lumberjack in the house today, too. Gotta love it.
Resident lumberjack.
Awesome, man. There he goes.
Man, I'm already delivered 5 gallons of water, boys.
Good deal. Glad to hear it. That's
water boy, yeah.
Oh, awesome.
Well, it's when people call me the water boy, I'm like, it's water man.
There you go. There you go.
And I try and say it like Derek Zoolander did when his dad called him a gall darn mermaid, and he goes, merman, Pop, merman.
Merman.
I'm a water man, dude, not a water boy. I'm a water man.
That's it.
Amen, kids. Amen. Yeah, well, this is going to be an unusually fun session of the Kong Family Show. I can already tell, just because of the awesome sauce that we have in the room today. And so everybody, I just want everybody to know we're live on Facebook, and we're also being recorded on Zoom. And we are the Kong Family Show. And we bring in awesome sauce from all over the place in here 5 days a week. And today we have a very special guest. We have my Kong brother, Shawn Wetzel. This guy, he rocks and rolls, and I've had the pleasure of being able to meet him personally. My only regret about our meeting is that I didn't get a photo. We should have had a photo, because you're just, you're like way up there, and I'm like way down here. It would have been a really cool
We kind of balance out. Tall and ugly, short and good looking, we kind of complement each other. And we both got the same hairdo. Mine by Oscar de la Renta, and yours by the creator, the Lord himself.
Yeah, it's amazing what my mama endowed me with. And so I'm pretty lucky in that regards. I got some hair. You should see most all of my family. They're all losing their hair, and all my brothers, they don't really have much hair left. And
mine's falling onto my back and sticking. I didn't know it did that.
But then again, I did have to have all my blood transfused right out of the chute. So I'm not surprised that I'm so much different than all of my family. But yeah, today's show is not about me, kids. It's about my brother Shawn Wetzel, and he's coming to us live from Montana. And he's living, breathing proof that they'll let anybody live in Montana, and which is fantastic, because everybody needs someplace to live, right? But yeah, we are the Kong family, and we have this very simple goal. We just want to change the world. People might think that's crazy. They might think that's lofty. They might think that's unrealistic. But the truth of the matter is, it's happening every day, and we are doing it how, Shawn?
one glass of 9.5 at a time, if you please.
Amen. And one lightning bolt in a box, and one awesome individual and one family at a time. And so with that said, Shawn, how's things going up there in Montana this morning?
Well, they're plugging away, man. Just it's bright, sunshiny day. I mean, obviously, winter just jumped past spring, it looks like, and we're now getting into the 70s. So we go from 40s to 70s in like a week. That's how we roll up here.
No wonder
But,
they let anybody live there.
It's good. Got some prospects on the hook. It's funny. You wish you could help people understand this. I've got a guy, dig this now. This is discouraging as heck, but something's working. I had this old Vietnam vet that took a liking to me through a mutual friend of ours in Billings. He ended up coming up and staying with us. He got in a bad way. He was living in Sheridan, Wyoming, and he was getting kind of screwed around. He's an old Italian from New York trying to survive in Sheridan, Wyoming. He was screwed to begin with, But he was, kind of a fiery old Italian, and I loved him. I still love him. It's funny because I had to tell him he had to get out of there. He came up and lived with me for a minute. He got a machine eventually. Then he sent it to his niece, whose daughter has autism. And she never sent it back. In the meanwhile, he's now got stage 4 pancreatic cancer. And he starts telling me all this stuff about how I'm just going to go in and do my chemos, the full Monty, and then recover in the hospital. And I'm just like, you're trying to be sensitive. You're trying to be kind. And, and I've had people with cancer that have survived cancer. Now they're like superhuman, and they have the audacity to mock me or complain what I do. And I don't know if it's Montana or what, but there's a certain mindset that's just like, hey, we are supposed to get in line. We're supposed to do what the man tells us to do. Don't be entrepreneurial. Go be a job. Go work for somebody. Don't take care of your own health. Just when the wheels come off, trust the absolutely credibility saturated allopathic industry, with their 3% success rates, So it's crazy. So John's telling me 2-3 months, they got 5 chemos set up for him. Same old BS rigmarole. I called his niece and I basically just said, look, your uncle is dying and he has no means of getting that. And you're not even using it, can you send that to me, please? I'm going to deep clean this thing. And it's the old Sun Us, if you can dig it. It's not even the Level Up R. So she's evidently sending that to me today. I am going to, when I get it, probably late this week, early next week, I'm going to deep clean the piss out of it. It hasn't been used in 2 years. He's now out in Norwich, New York, 2 weeks away from going to chemo. I'm going to clean his machine. I'm going to send him a box of Ukon and a box of Ukon tea and tell him to just get after it, and see, because it's helped other people. Everyone that I've ever given this to in the 11th hour has benefited from it, from some type of miracle or other. And even arrogance and pride aside, it's funny how you get your master's degree at 26 years old in counseling and development, and your purpose is to change the world one kid at a time. I work with at-risk youth. Everyone strokes you and pats you on the back. You get into that industry and you ain't making more than peanuts. It's not even, it was retarded. It wasn't even $10 an hour. It wasn't even minimum wage, considering the time I put into my job as a Native American Studies counselor advisor at the university. I made $21,000. It was a $17,000 contract in 1996. I had to get frisky and get creative and work with a forestry cat out of SKC, Salish Kootenai College, just to generate another $4,000. But we brought 8 students from their forestry program at the 2-year level to our 4-year. I bring 8 kids in. Do you think I get any bonuses? All that money about 30, 40,000 a student. If I bring in over 300 grand, I get none out of that, you know. So I didn't like their matrix. There was not a business type formula, not that it was supposed to be, but they just want patsies and suckers in those jobs. Work for peanuts, work your way up. It's a joke. I'm now doing this. Yeah, I've got like 9 people, and most of them are distant relatives to me. And everybody has an excuse, you know. Everybody has an excuse. So I don't even sweat them, you know. I don't even sweat them. I'm working hard on just opening the eyes of people that want their eyes opened. I mean, it's crazy because we are so indoctrinated to just do these things, you know. Go in, have surgery, have your back operated on. When you learn 40% of the back surgeries performed in this country are not doing anything. 40% of your back surgery patients are no better, if not worse, than they were before they went in to get surgery. You know, so that's really what I've been working on. You know, I've got some people here in this community of Stevensville. They need it, flat out. I don't know if it's they're simple or if they're too proud or if they just can't believe that a water would do something like this. But, you know, it's just something I got to work on. You know, the Bitterroot Valley kind of operates at a snail shit pace, man. I mean, it's slow. And I've just got to stick with it. That's why I'm really thankful for things like this, because I moved out of Billings to bring my family here to a little more family environment, a little more conducive. And, yeah, definitely not help the business out at all in the context of being able to deal with traffic, moving from a community of 140,000 to a community of 5,000 doesn't help your cause too much on that end. But this type of stuff, online stuff, has been really helpful. So yeah, I'm just plugging away, man, plugging away. You're never getting enough. You're never getting enough people on, but the ones that are coming on, you love it. Just had somebody get on board here recently with the, you know, I won't drop any names, but yeah, non-invasive bladder cancer, you know, and, you know, that's ultimately going to, if untreated, you know, unaddressed, these two are sharper in tacks. They got on board, they got their machine. In fact, I'm going to reach out to them today just to see how they're doing and how the water is coming, but they're excited. And I know everybody that I've ever given this to in this situation has told me something. The people that have denied me, the people that have, I had a gal, it's crazy. I had a gal that her son had bought a machine. He'd played semi-pro football in Billings, and he's just a big corn-fed country 6'6" white boy. I mean, shoulders from here to tomorrow, redhead, nicest kid in the world until you get him on the football field, and he's just going to pummel you. You know, he's just a beast. And his mom was, you know, done a few things, and she got into that Life Vantage, and she kept talking about the water, and, oh, yeah, well, I want to get one. And next thing you know, she's like, well, if you get into Life Vantage with me, and this is before UConn, I didn't really know about it, I'll buy a machine. So this goes on for like 3 months. I get my stuff, and I realize that their proprietary blend is 175 milligrams of turmeric, 175 milligrams of milk thistle, and blah, blah, blah. And I got onto it, and I was taking it, and didn't seem to do much. I even got the dog discs that you give to your dogs, and he'll heal them up. And she gets cancer. So she's running around down to Mexico. She's down to Arizona. She's trying the alternate route. Won't get a machine. Her kids call a couple months later. This goes on for like 8 months. Kids call, yeah, we need to get mom a machine. I'm like, y'all need to quit BSing around and yapping about it and make it happen. Talking about getting a machine is not going to heal your mother. God rest her soul. You know, she died. I got out of the company. I started taking the UConn with 650 milligrams of the world's finest turmeric. You know, what am I going to do? It's frustrating. It's discouraging. 50-some-year-old lady, lovely gal. it just, people get too proud or too, I don't know what it is. I even asked Johnny last night, I'm like, Bud, where are you? Before I get into doing whatever I can to save you mode, help you mode, are you ready? Do you want to party? Are you just ready to bow out gracefully? What's your deal? I don't want to put any words in your mouth. Tell me where you're at. This old Italian. Well, hell, I ain't ready to go anywhere yet. And I'm like, okay, good. And so we coordinated this plan where I'm going to get this machine. I'm going to deep clean the pee out of it. And I'm going to just send it to him wrapped up brand new in the bow and bells on and do what we can to get him going naturally, And like I said, everybody that I've ever done that for that has allowed me to give them the water, yeah, they've experienced some type of miracle. Those that haven't have not. I got a brother, had a brain tumor, seizures. This guy's as honorable as they come, man. He's went to the military, 6 years in Afghanistan and Iraq, Kabul, Baghdad as an MP when things got really bad. Well, he got back and he's a cop. He's a police officer down in Colorado. And God bless him, man. This guy got a spine, brain, and neck institute wanted to give him. Take out the tumor in one swoop, or take it out in a series of operations, little by little. That they would have to keep going in and opening his head. So we got the machine down to him, lickety split. He had it for 3-4 weeks. Meet him down there for his appointment on December 21st, 2016. They didn't have to do the surgery. The tumor was gone, and they couldn't explain it. Same old stuff. They can't explain it. Oh, geez, I don't know. We've never seen this before in our medical practice. So he gets out of there, and he's good. He just won some award for, Police Officer of the Year in Denver, something like that. Bobby's the real deal, no joke. But, it helped him. It helped him tremendously. Just got to figure out how to help him understand that getting a machine is still in his best interest.
Yeah. That's exactly the case, brother. And what people are, what the brain block is, I think it's different for everybody, what their different brain block is, but I think it just has to do with the indoctrination that we're subject to daily, by the minute, by the second. We're getting just constantly barraged with this. And, it's like our brother Bickford, he's in the house on the live side, and he said it's like with any alternative treatment option. Sadly, it takes the usual healthcare methods to completely fail and desperation for someone to look for the real options to keep up the fight. And that's exactly what ends up happening. But, I wanted to back up just a little bit, brother, and then I definitely want to talk some more about your, different success stories, whatever stories you want to share with the family. But I want to share with the family the beginning of your story. I'd like to, as I ask everybody that comes into this place, because I really want to know this information. I'm always really curious how people got involved, why they got involved, and when they got involved, and if they were a skeptic like I was, because I was a big-time skeptic. And so I want to try and find that information out, and it's all part of the story, because we all have our own different story as to how we got involved, why we got involved, and looks like we lost Shawn. He'll be back in. He was having a little bit of trouble with his internet connection there, as you could tell. He was sounding a little bit robotic, but he'll be back in here in a second, and we'll continue on. Paul, you still in there?
Yes, sir. I'm here, brother.
Glad to hear it, man. So how'd your thing go yesterday with your buddy?
Good, man. He said he was going to buy a trifecta and finance it, but I haven't heard back from him. So,
Yeah. Well, we'll see how that all works out.
Yeah. No, I had a good day. Went down to the office, met Dan Edlin, had a training meeting. So,
Super
yeah,
glad to hear that.
Good day.
We got to get you on here, brother, one of these days as the guest. I want to hear your story. I want to hear where you came from and how it all happened for you. But
Amen. Welcome back, Shawn, brother.
Yeah, I don't know what happened.
Yeah, your
Wait.
internet connection up there is a little bit soft. It's been kind of you've been doing a little bit of the robotic stuff, but that's all right. It's all coming through.
Really?
But I wanted to back up and give everybody the gist about your story, because we all, as everybody knows who comes around this joint, that we like to share stories and not only the stories of health and that kind of stuff, but also the fascinating stories of how people get involved and why they get involved. What makes their brain tick to decide that they should get themselves a Kangen water machine and literally change their lives. And so I would love it if you would share with the family how you got involved, why you got involved, and when you got involved, and ask you if you were the same kind of skeptic that I was.
Oh, man. Okay, word. Yeah, I was kind of in between gigs. I'd gotten out of the college level stuff. I'd been a counselor in high schools, group homes. I was a behavioral modification counselor at group homes, and that was probably the most rewarding job because those kids didn't have anybody. They were considered throwaway kids, and the only reason I couldn't handle the job is because administratively it was all about Medicaid dollars and butts in beds, and it's a modern day boarding school. I mean, here you got these kids with terrible broken home situations, and I got my manager and my boss, herding them around, barking at them, intimidating them, telling them stuff like, yeah, I get to go home and have a beer in my recliner after work. You get to go up to Unit 7, say stuff like that. Tell kids they're going to be in prison in 5 years. Let's just say I didn't last very long because he had one kid, behavioral file this thick, came in from the mountain one day. We were doing some outdoor stuff. This guy's got a kid in there who's got a terrible behavior, just his file's thick. The kid's life was just hell from the get-go. And he's calling him a baby. You're going to cry. You're going to punch another hole in the wall. This kid was losing it. I come around the corner and we're taught to be helpful. Hey, brother, can I help you? I got this. And I'm like, dude, you do not have this. You've lost your damn mind, and you're in here just fueling this kid's fire. Our job's to put it out. I got this handled. You go do your detail. I'm like, look, here's the deal. If you don't back off professionally and allow me to come in, I'm going to personally beat the shit out of you right here. I will go to jail. I will do anything I can to get you off of this kid's jock. This kid's knuckles are bleeding from punching walls, and you're mocking him. You're not even caring for him. So I was really struggling. I don't threaten people like that, but there was no way he was stopping. So he went in to write me up, which was good. I grabbed this kid and I said, come on, bud, let's get out of here. We took a walk and I was gone for 2 hours. I told my other guy, Marcus, I'm like, Marcus, handle detail. I got to get my uncle on with this kid because he is a mess. Came back, we were laughing, we slipped over, got some ice cream, and just talked. We walked for a good 3 miles, That's what I was trying to do, help these kids. Yet the environment they were in wasn't conducive to helping them. So I'd gotten into some other stuff on the contracting level. We did some suicide intervention stuff, became a master certified trainer at the level of training, police force, medical environment educators, mental health professionals, social workers, stuff like that. We just teach them how to become more suicide aware. And that was tough. It was rewarding by all means, but man, when you get through some emotions, in Montana, for some reason, we're leading the nation. We're twice the nation in suicide rate. So there's a real chasm somewhere in terms of our ability to deal with certain things at an alarming level. And I can say that because the numbers speak for themselves. So, again, I was trying to help somebody. Then November of 2008, a guy that used to watch me play ball in college rolls up to my doorstep and knocks on my door, and I go to answer the door, and He puts his hands, he says, have I got something for you? I looked out, I looked around, I'm like, Gary? He's like, yeah. Dude, it's Shawn. He's like, I know. I'm like, so are you just door knocking? Because he's a door knocker. He's a Kirby guy. He's that's just what he does, No, your brother told me where you are. And you're going to pitch me like a J-dub from my porch? God bless you, dude. I says, you just need to dial back a minute, come in and shake my hand, give me a hug, or I'm shutting this door on you before you utter another word. He says, okay, I'll do that. But let me go get this thing. I'm like, what is it? It's a water ionizer. And he's walking off. A water ionizer? What's that for? How much does it cost? He says, $4,000. I laughed so loud. I mean, just this, ha! I mean, it was crazy. Neighbors across the street looked over watering their lawn at me, and they looked over and they're like, So I'm like, bring it in. I know I'm not buying it. So he brings in this creamy looking device with these pretty colors on the front of it, and we hook it up to my sink, and he's telling me all about it, So I'm like, okay, this guy, I know Gary, it's my dog, but he's persistent. I'm just going to get him off my back right away. He says, you need to drink 1 ounce per pound of body weight a day. I was 256, kind of bubbling out all over. My frame doesn't accommodate 256 very well. I look like a big pink Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. It wasn't very accommodating. They do have flavored Stay Puft Marshmallows, and I was the pink guy because we're not even white. We're pink. I mean, I'm pinkish beige, and in the summertime coming, I'm going to get a little tanner, but that's about it. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to drink 256 pounds, 1 ounce per pound of body weight. Miraculously, 128 ounces is in a gallon. 2 gallons is indeed 256. So I'm like, all right, bud, I'm going to rock this like Herbie Hancock. 2 gallons a day for the first 3 days. Dude, let's just say my elimination process had up jumped the boogie and got down on it like Kool and the Gang for about 3 days. I mean, I think I only drank water for 3 days, about 6 gallons and some fruit and stuff. I lost 15 pounds in the porcelain office. And I'm not kidding. I'm not shitting you, I should say. Well, I was, but I'm not. And so I was like, this is nuts. I was breaking into cold sweats at night. And I wake up, I would just be soaked. And I realized I was going through this tremendous detox. So after about the 3rd day, and I was feeling pretty good in the meanwhile, but after the 3rd day, I was feeling like I wanted to go, like some of these flakes out there at 40 years old, they go back and they impersonate a 20-year-old and go to college and play basketball. That was me. I'm like, good grief. I was 38, man. I was feeling fresh as a daisy. So I drank it for a couple weeks, and I didn't, I was between jobs. I got out of the group home gig, and that whole suicide prevention thing, assist training, was a contract deal. I didn't have a pot to piss in, man. I had to borrow from Peter to pay Paul, man. I put my down payment on one credit card. I set up my monthly payments on another credit card and went to work, just drinking the water. Didn't even occur to me to sell it. So what do you do when you see a good movie? What do you do when you hear a good song? What do you do when you learn something new? You tell people about it. So I ran into a couple cats, and, long story short, first 3 months, I moved 5 machines. And I should back up a bit. I called Gary down. In the first 2 weeks, I had 2 guys that wanted machines. So I told Gary, get back down here. I got a couple machine sales for you. He says, well, you filled out the W-9, so you can sell them. I've been a W-2, W-4 guy my entire life. Even with some of the network marketing stuff I did, I never really made enough money to do anything. It was peanuts. I thought the W9 was the medical device that he was talking about for Japan, but that's what I thought. I just didn't get it. I was like, that didn't make any sense to me. So I finally figured out that I said, send me the paperwork. He didn't have any paperwork. He didn't have an email. He's kind of a caveman. So he sends me to his 6A, who ended up kind of being one of my good resources for a while. And I still stay in touch with him fairly regularly. But within 3 months, I'd moved 5 machines, made a couple grand back, and was kind of scratching my head going, this is, you get $285 on a machine sale. I was kind of like, that's crazy. I've never made $285 in any of the things I'd done collectively. After my 3rd machine sale, my 2A leg, that doubled. I started getting kind of, I wanted to get greasy with this thing. But again, I'm a counselor and a coach. I'm not a businessman. I'm not a marketer. I'm not one to go pound the pavement with a briefcase and just door to door. That ain't my gig, man. I can't do it. It's just, I'm a big trust credibility guy. And if I go rolling in like any one of these guys, I just feel like I'm going to be perceived as this guy selling stuff. So, long story short, this thing just kind of took off and we just started going with it, gave it to our dog. We got a brand new puppy, had a tumor underneath her chin. We got her. The vet said it's going to cost us like $500 because it's going to take 2 procedures because there was an artery on both sides of the tumor. And if they take it all out, they cut that article, she'll bleed out. Or cut that tumor out, that she'll bleed out. Within 2 weeks of us taking her home going, what do we do here? We just started giving her the water. We'd heard it was good. We thought maybe it'll help our dog. We didn't realize that dogs metabolize 7 times faster. So you want to see how quickly this helps a body heal. Give it to a dog or a horse. Their metabolism 7 times faster than ours. And I mean, you want to see instant results. It's crazy. Within a week and a half, that tumor was gone. We didn't need surgery, didn't need anything, and was kind of like, wow, that's crazy. Wasn't what we anticipated. We weren't really looking at it like that. We were just seeing if it would help. It disappeared. It had disappeared. So we took him back to the vet, still gave us the same old story. Geez, I can't believe that. I've never heard of that. Tried talking to the vet about the water. No work. It didn't work. So, from my kids to me, lifelong sinuses, lifelong allergies, man, I was about half sickly, and I never, I got mercury in my fillings from my days at the Indian Health Service growing up in Browning. And I need to get these out of here, to be honest with you. But yeah, it just started doing so many things. My joint pain, my lower back. I feel better now than I did at 38. I mean, I was older then physiologically, or physically maybe is the word, than I feel now. And I'm knocking on 50, And it's crazy because I wasn't buying it, Conceptually, I wasn't buying it. And financially, when he said $4,000, I thought, how quickly can I get this cat out of my house? And 10 years later, I bought his machine from him because he jumped into some heart powder deal. And now you can't find a girl to marry. This guy likes to snag around and find other businesses. And once he gets going in that one, he dumps it and he finds another one. It's like, good Lord, dude, just get some stick-to-itiveness. You had it. You had the golden ticket in your hand. And I bought his machine from him. It's one of my loaners. So, yeah, it's been quite a journey, man. And that's just, and as it grew, I realized how significant it was for me to have the mindset that I have in helping people, empowering people, building people. That's what I did as a counselor with all these at-risk youth. And I don't care if I was at the college level, group home level, K through 12 level, didn't matter. I realized I'm helping people in a way more profound way. And then I also realized in some of my mental health stuff, half of your mental health people, if not more than half, have so many untouched issues, most of your mental health people that I've worked with are full of beans, man. They've got such a dark side to them, and it's almost like they go into that to hide and to kind of play it off. So I didn't want to be no part of that association either, you know, because I'd had people, you know, ask me this and that, and I just didn't want it to be about me, you know. I know those guys that get into it and, oh boy, yeah, I helped this kid and we gave him this formula and blah, blah, blah. You know, there's such a back pat and mojo to some of these people that are just fragile, you know. They want it all to be about them. I've learned with Kong and Water, this ain't about me. And that isn't never what I wanted to do anyway. I wanted it to be about the people that I'm trying to help. And I've always been that way. And I've not found anything that has allowed me the latitude to do that so profoundly as I have with Kangen, you know. And 10 years later, I don't care. I mean, every person that has trusted me to try it, that has trusted me to share videos and resources with them and have purchased a machine, every person has benefited from it. You know, some of them didn't even know it, you know, took them a while, you know. Had a guy with gout, he drank it, 6-pack of Miller Lite every day, and then he wondered why he had gout, you know. So he had gout for 15 years. He drinks the water for like a week, doesn't tell me anything. Drinks it for a couple weeks, doesn't tell me anything. I'm like, all right, dude. The guy was way overweight. He ate like just a nightmare, you know, just nothing but garbage. So I thought, okay, can't help him. So I quit giving him the water. And a week later, he's like, hey, man, I think that made my gout go away. And I'm like, I had to take the water away for you to actually recognize that? Yeah, I guess so, you know. And I'm like, how oblivious can you be, you know? And you obviously you deal with that more than you'd like, but it's funny. It's like, good Lord, you don't realize something until it's taken away. At least it got his attention. Now he's got a machine and he's rocking it. He still eats the way he does, but it's his way out. You know, it's like, hey, if I'm eating this way, this will just balance it, which is good because it's going to help him flush out all that garbage like we talk about. You know, it's going to help him flush out, stay alkalized, stay hydrated while he's going through his stuff, you know. But yeah, it's interesting. You got grown men, I know, good buddies of mine, 60, 70 pounds overweight, in their early 40s, drinking rock stars, you know. And hey, bud, you know, that's going to give you a heart attack, dude. And you're not exactly driving the health train, you know. And I love this cat. And I wasn't hacking on him. I sent him a text later. I'm like, look, I wasn't busting your chops to be like rude. I was telling you, you use this machine for a month. And it just nothing happened. Nothing clicked. His wife was pregnant. Everything went well. I had actually had it for like 2 months. Still didn't get one. But, you know, again, some people just take a little longer. So you don't necessarily burn the bridge. You just kind of let it go until they want to cross it on their own time. But unfortunately, the mindset that I'm finding with too many people is they don't come to you until the wheels come off. If they don't die, like my friend's mom. You know, so you just gotta, I'm just trying to plod along. I love how I've found a tremendous resource of like-minded people in this family, you know. And again, as we've talked, as we, you know, come up with the idea of creating this show and just how this has evolved, I couldn't have predicted it, you know. But I'm so grateful for it because I get most of my energy and mojo from a people person. You know, I'm pretty grounded in my faith, and after this last year and a half of my own stuff, that's grown tremendously. But you still need to surround yourself with like-minded people. And, you know, sometimes I look around here, me, small community, everyone's really into their comfort zones. So having this kind of group here, having people reach out to me from online world, it sure made it a lot more rewarding. Because I'd have probably had to change gigs moving over here if it was really about location. I'd have probably had to do something to supplement it. But by the grace of the online deal, today's technology, our ability to capitalize on it and make it happen, this has been a real boost, in that regard. So, I'm just plodding along, man. I didn't do the whole thing right. I mean, I am a perfect case study on how to not have almost 500 machines and be a 6A only. I've got 3 of my legs that are in the 5A range. My buddy in Germany, he's just getting into the 5A world. But yeah, I mean, almost 500 machines, and I'm only a 6A. And I'm probably another 100 machines, 50 a piece, and 2 legs of getting to 6A too. So I didn't do it right. If I'd have done it properly, I'd have probably doubled my money, just leveraging and understanding the Ukon. McGaffin, God bless his soul, he sent me a couple of YouTubes and about how him and Sherry got into it. And man, those are powerful in terms of leveraging. Talking about getting paid as a 6A at like your 23rd, 22nd machine sale as a 4A, getting back in, and it was just powerful. So I'm really trying to utilize that stuff to kind of light a fire under some of my other distributors that want to sell machines. But again, they all are kind of in this mode of selling machines, and it doesn't work. You and I both know that you come out, you're excited, you're like a kid in a candy store, and you come out, you want to share everybody the candy you got in your pockets, and they're looking at you like, wait, what? I've never had that candy before. It looks crazy, and I don't like it. You're scaring me. Back off with your water candy, and I'm like, oh, okay, cool. So, I was like just a overzealous puppy dog right away. And, you try and wake people up. You can't be more excited for this thing than people are. And I found that out. So instead of being that guy, I kind of turned into that made guy that says, okay, look, you want to bet on a horse at the horse race? You want to come up with us in the suite and celebrate? You're going to bet on that 9.5 horse. You cannot come up and party with us unless you bet on the 9.5 horse, because he's going to dust every other horse in the field. And if you bet on another horse, keep your ass down on the track. Keep your program under your armpit, because you're going to be looking at the next race trying to make up for what you just lost in this race. Can you dig it? So that's how I kind of look at it now. I ain't messing around. You cannot beat a dead horse, and you cannot make people smarter than they are. I've really learned that Darwinism is indeed a reality. We kid around about it. Survival of the fittest, maybe by luck, by the grace of God, whatever. Any of us that have these machines are indeed fitter. We're healthier. We're putting our body in a position to do things that without the water, they're not doing, as you and I both know. Yeah. I had a dear friend, one of my best friends in life, get after me the other day about how I haven't talked to him in a couple of years, and he's going through his own stuff, man. But yeah, my phony Facebook posts and my lack of reality. And when you get brain cancer, then you can talk to me about Kangen water and all this. I'm like, so you're going to just throw that out there, that you want me to get brain cancer so you can be right? I mean, are you kidding me? No, man, because you're just so, and I'm like, listen, you're going to get cancer before I will. Let's be real. You're going to get cancer before I will, because you're angrier than hell. That produces stress. That produces acidity. You've got a whole negative energy that's just really radiating from you. That's not helping your stress, nor is it helping minimize your acidic production levels. You're not doing anything to address it. And it ended up hanging up on me. You're going to tell me I'm going to die of cancer. It turned into a pissing contest. And I thought, geez, you cannot fix stupid. You can't. And I don't think, his mom died of cancer. We've all had it. We're all surrounded by it, so it's not like I'm any less sensitive. He's just got other stuff going on. And I come to realize that. He's got other things going on. And I guess I was a real easy target to kind of take it out on, because I'm kind of that way. You can kind of get into me, and I ain't going to worry about it too much unless you get too frisky. Then I'll pipe you down. But I ain't afraid of getting some good medicine in terms of understanding somebody's perspective. But this whole perspective was negative, and how I'm insensitive to cancer patients. And I'm like, bud, you know me better than anybody out there. And you've always liked that authenticity about me and the compassion that I have for people. Now I'm manipulating it because I have a water technology. He's like, oh, I get it. I get it. No, you don't get it, bud, because you don't have a machine. So you can say you get it all day long, but you don't get it. You can tell me that all day long, but actions speak louder than words. And you're barking at me about my phony Facebook posts and Kangen water saving the world. And it was just crazy, man. And I mean, this guy, since my college days, this is a guy I've held in the highest esteem. A couple years older than me. Yeah, it's just crazy. But did it stop me? Does it affect me? No, because I realize he's got his own thing going on. I can't let it ruin my day. I can't let it affect me. Might be the last time I talk to him. I don't know. I'll leave that up to him. But knowing me, I'll reach out to him in a year or so and just tell him I love him, let him know I'm thinking about him, and who knows where he'll be, what he'll be doing. He's out on the East Coast right now. But, you cannot, the hard thing is you can't help people who don't want to help themselves, and it's just one of those things. So, hey, by the grace of God, I know why I'm doing it. I know what I'm doing, and it's just working on the how I'm doing it, but the why is so profound for me because it's making an absolute difference in the lives of everybody that's allowing me to share it with them. And, yeah, I've got some real wonderful people, in my organization. I've never really marketed it from a business building standpoint. Again, I was just trying to help all my sick people. So I'm learning to shift a little bit more. And, some people are that way just because they're that way. I had a friend of mine. He just sent me some Facebook Messenger of some little girl who's in bed and she needs all these forward all these messages in Facebook Messenger. For every forward, she gets $1 towards her treatment. Please help her. She's my neighbor's kid. Well, for the last 8 years, I've got this about 30 times. And I'm like, I can't believe this girl lives by so many people I know. She doesn't, of course. So I'm telling him, he's like, well, yeah, I just thought I was helping somebody out. And here's a guy that his daughter had Barrett's esophagus. They wanted to take 8 inches of her esophagus out of her body. I begged him, let me put a loaner in your house. We put a loaner in their house right before I moved from Billings for about a month. She goes in to get it looked at, doesn't need the surgery. It's healing. Something's going on. They can't, it's repairing itself. They'd never seen it before. So my buddy, he's like, well, we can't afford the machine, but hey, it's gone now. I'm like, but dude, if you don't keep it in the frame of what helped it be gone, it's going to come back. No, I think we're good. I moved. I find out 3 months later, they took 6 inches out of her esophagus. And so he's the guy that sends me this little girl meme or this little forward. And he said, oh, I just thought I was helping people. I'm like, dude, your warm and fuzzies are, look, bottom line is I'm helping people. You're sending stuff that's probably virus heavy. You're not helping anybody by forwarding it $1. And what are you really helping? I mean, I'm helping people by getting real with them about how they can help themselves. And you, of all people, know how it helped your daughter. So if you really want to help somebody, get on board with me. I'll help you help people. In the meanwhile, give your family my best. Tell them all hi for me. All I got back was a thank you, I will. This poor guy. Some people, again, they're just stuck. They don't have any hope. They don't have any belief. He works his tail off, but it's just some people like the grind. It's a subconscious thing. They don't believe they're worthy of anything more than the grind. And that is so discouraging because they just don't trust it. They're so indoctrinated into, I can't think for myself. I can't work for myself. I need a boss to tell me what to do.
Yeah.
What do you
Isn't that
do?
amazing, brother? I mean, for the couple years I've been involved with this, I got to comment on something you just said there about, the authenticity of it and, the whole realness.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, I've been in a lot of different companies over the years. As a lot of people know out there, I've been pretty much self-employed since the age of 19 years old, and now I'm 53 years young. And I've punched my last time clock clear back in, when I was about 19 years old. And so I've tried all kinds of things. And I'll tell you what, I have never, ever seen anything more real and more authentic than this company right here and the people that are involved with it. I've only met, I can count on one hand the number of people that I've met that their whole goal wasn't to help other people regardless of whether they got any kind of compensation whatsoever, because the truth is the compensation for anybody that's really real, the compensation in helping other people when you know dang well you're not benefiting from it any way monetarily, is it just the great feeling that you get in your heart knowing that you helped somebody, and I want to let everybody know out there that Shawn and I, we're partners here in the Kong family and have been for about a year now, a little over a year, and we're not even on the same squad, as he likes to say. We're on this in the same league, but we're not on the same squad. And we do things every day to help each other. We work with each other. We give freely of each other's time to each other and to other people, and we're not concerned about any kind of monetary compensation for it. We do it out of love. We do it out of the goodness of our hearts and the compassion that we have for just the extreme disdain we have for seeing other people suffer. It's tough, brother, when you know for a fact that you have something that can help somebody and they refuse to listen. They refuse to try. They refuse to give it the time of day. It is heartbreaking for somebody like me, and I know it is for you too. That's why, we read each other's minds practically. We're truly brothers from another mother. And it's fascinating, and it's such an incredible blessing that the way things have all worked out in that we've managed. The very first time I ever met you on one of those Zoom calls, and the first time you yammered out your pie hole, I immediately fell in love. I was like, this cat right here, we're gonna get along just fine, and it's turned into a really blossoming friendship. And
you ain't lying.
It's going to last for the rest of our lives, and I look forward to it. And
like Karl Malone and John Stockton,
Before we move on any further, we've got Rachel in here, and I'm wondering if Rachel, that little angel, she's going to be on tomorrow's show. But I was wondering if Rachel has anything to say to Shawn, if she has any questions, if she has any comments for Shawn. Are you there, Rachel?
I am here.
Well, hello.
Hi, how are you guys doing?
Good. We're just rocking it out, man.
Yeah.
JJ had no guests, so he had to kind of slum and bring me on board for an interview. We're rolling with it like Steve Winwood told us to, you know what I mean?
That's awesome. No, I love the hats, guys.
Well, his hair is fake. Mine's real.
Oh, yeah. Right. No, that's funny. No, I'm just chilling here with my little one and listening in on you guys. And yeah, I'm pretty excited for tomorrow. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah. Well, and as you can see, just be comfortable and don't let anything bother you. We're going to ask you real brutal questions that are going to make you sweat like you're on the interrogation seat in the terrorist chamber of our government, and then you're going to really be coming out of there sweating like Ted Stryker on Airplane.
Oh, yeah. That's funny.
No.
You guys should be able to see why I love my brother Shawn so much.
Yeah,
so
for
much
sure.
Incredible value to the table. I love it when he's on the show with me because he just has such a incredibly raw and humble demeanor about him, and then he just throws in a bunch of humor there too, which is always fun because humor is a really good thing to have in your life. And so Shawn, you've talked about some of the things that have happened with people and some of the health issues. I'm wondering if there's anything else that you'd like to elaborate on, any, particular thing that's happened. I mean, over 10 years of sharing this water, you've had to have had some amazing things happen. And once again, for people, I want them to understand that when we're talking about these health benefits that people get, we're not talking about common water being the magic, because the miracle's right here. It's right here. This machine right here. This thing is the miracle. This is the magic. This is the incredible thing, and it doesn't heal itself if it is given what it needs. And so what Kong's water is it's a tool. It's a gift that was given to us by God and Mr. Oshiro, and it's a tool that our body uses to heal itself. That's all it is. It's just a tool and a gift. It's not a miracle. The miracle lies right here. And so with that said, Shawn, what kind of stuff do you have to share with the family about, what's been maybe a couple of the most touching things that have happened for you over the last 10 years?
Well, again, I could tell you about my stuff. I had blood pressure and lisinopril and, doing all that. I got off all that. I had Claritin, lifelong allergies, started out with Sudafed. We'd even go to Osco Drug and get those tiny little pills. You need to take like 14 a day to have any staying power. I was dehydrated. I was like Sylvester on Bugs Bunny when he took that alum that one time and he just puckered up hard and dried out. That was me. I was like leather inside, considering how dry I was, Drinking water wasn't always the best. We got kind of a chlorine issue in a lot of places around, where we have municipal water. And I'd make it really cold and I'd put ice cubes in it because the colder it was, the less you could taste the chlorine, the more lukewarm. And, so I don't know. All my stories are really other people. I think the most profound one was my, younger brother who the tumor, they didn't have to do surgery. They didn't have to do that. And I just keep him in my prayer since he still doesn't have a machine. I just keep him in my prayers and just ask God to guide and protect him and to keep him healthy because he's an amazing spirit. He is, wanted to be a cop his whole life. He wanted to go into the military since he was 5. He wanted to be a football referee ever since he was a little guy. And he's become all of those things. And he's just an amazing kid, man. He's in his early 30s now. He's an amazing young man. He just had his first baby, Vivian Adeline, and she is, cuter than cute, dude. They should, change the Gerber baby to this one because the Gerber baby is, butt ugly compared to my new niece. No, I'm just being kind of selfish, maybe, or a little territorial. But yeah, it's really that. I think at the end of the day, you're talking about the gift from God and the gift of Oshiro. And I don't know if a lot of people really understand Oshiro's story. And I was blessed to be able to hear it at a conference in 2012. But he talked about World War II and, the bombing of Nagasaki and Hiroshima and all that. And they're up there in Okinawa, up in the island, and they found him. Him and his mom and his brother were hiding behind a bunker, which is now one of his golf at our new golf course that he created for Enagic people. That bunker is behind hole 7 or something, and they kept it there. But they were hiding out, and his American soldiers were combing, looking for survivors and this and that. They found Mr. Oshiro and his brother and his mom, and they were terrified. They thought they were going to die. They thought, we're getting captured by the enemy. And he says the thing that he remembered, and it really stuck to me as a guy that loves little kids, and you want to plant seeds in little kids that go a long way. You want to talk about something and why this is here? I'd love to know who that soldier was that picked him up, carried him out of there, and gave him a piece of chocolate. How many guys capture, or how many people are captured by their enemy and they're given a piece of chocolate out of kindness? He talked about how profound that was, and as it was part of his vision, his ultimate global expansion, he wanted to start it in the U.S. because he felt like ever since that situation, he wanted to do his thing to pay back to, reciprocate the gesture and talk about the chocolate bar of Oshiro in this machine. It's amazing. So that's the mission that I share. I want people to have absolute health. I want people to believe and be hopeful that they can take control of their health, that they don't have to stay in this Kool-Aid line of drugs and pharmacies and surgeries and radiations and chemo. That is my ultimate mission. I even offer sometimes to some of my sick people, I offer them, I'll give you my commission to cut down on the cost. And, this still doesn't happen too often, but my whole goal is to realizing what it's done for me and all the countless people I've learned about over the last 10 years, help people. You can lead a horse to water, you can't make him drink it. It's like, Swardstam told us about his dad. We were all excited that his dad was going to get rid of his cancer. He never even hooked it up. I remember I was crying in the audience when he's telling the story on stage. It blew my mind, and so like I said, my whole priority is just to continue on in this mission to just help people realize how profound this is. And if we don't get out of our own way, we're going to struggle. We're going to deal with stuff. Hypertension doesn't go away with the pill. It's managed. Allergies don't go away with a pill. They're managed. Headaches don't go away with pills. They're managed. You can take stuff out of somebody. You can cut something off of somebody surgically. But if you don't address the root cause of it, you're just dealing with Band-Aid issues. And I've really learned that, America, we're the best country in the world in terms of medical care, emergency care, if you will. But you want to talk about lifestyle and health care just as a general deal, we're in the dark. We're 52nd in the world. Our overall average lifespan, we're like even worse than other countries. And here we're the most, industrial, developed country in the world, arguably, but we were initially we were the first. Now technology's catching up a lot of other people, but the fact that we have all these options and we're still as terrible as we are, it kind of shows, I don't know if it's arrogance, which maybe not so much that in most cases, it's just being in the dark, not having an absolute clue. We've become so conditioned to believe that, hey, we eat what we want, drink what we want, live the way we want, and hey, when the wheels come off, we got to go see the doctor and they'll fix us. And that's why everyone's crying around about free health care. Everybody wants universal health care because nobody wants to take the steps to take care of their own health. I don't want free health care. I don't even want health care at all. I mean, if it comes down to it, I look at it like health assurance. I want health assurance more than I need health insurance. And nor do I need to be made to deal with all that stuff. You're still going to go past everything you got anyway, financially. I know people that are going broke to get their chemos. So you think about it. Okay, you're going to die in 3 to 4 months. That's what they told my buddy in New York. But in the meanwhile, let's max out your insurance system. He's a vet, doesn't get the care. Our veterans and the care that they get, they're so patronized. It's a joke, But this guy believed in me enough to get a machine, and it helped him when he had it, and he's just now being told he's got 5 chemos. They give him the whole story about how, then we'll get you recovered and you start building your strength back up in the hospital. Well, who builds up their strength after rounds and rounds of chemo? It emaciates people. Flat out emaciates people. So, that's why I do what I do. And again, I'll post something like that, and then I get somebody that survived cancer, and they feel like now they're the expert, even though they're one of 3%. They're one of the 3% that have been successful in that endeavor. And they're going to Facebook message me and tell me how I don't know what I'm talking about. And it's like, hey, look, I'm really thankful you got through it, but not everyone's as lucky as you, not everyone at all. I think going back to that question, my mom, when I first got the machine, she was dealing with all kinds of health issues and hadn't slept through the night in a while. She had the chemo had produced some things with her digestively that were not very good. And she just really had a lot of problems. And within 2 days of drinking this water, she slept through the night for the first time in 2 years. Called me crying. You know, I ran over there figuring out what was going on because we moved back to Billings because Mom was basically survived her cancer chemo and her stem cell stuff. 14% of her, you know, everyone else died, you know, but Mom was one of those few percent that lived. And Mom really believes that the American Cancer Society and has her best interests. And, you know, what can you do, man? People think emotionally more than we think objectively. But I just do know that it helped her. And, you know, one of my neighbors across the street in Billings has a machine. They're good friends now, and Mom just gets water from her, you know. But yeah, it's just been something that for me to be able to truly help people, I want to share the truth with them at any level. And sometimes the truth hurts people because they don't want to face things that they've been avoiding. And again, whether it's their lifestyle, whether it's their diet, whether it's decisions they've made, whether it's choices and stuff that have led themselves to this position, we're all responsible for our own gig, you know. And so I figured the best way for me to do that is to have something like this that can absolutely help people not only take control of their physical health, but just to know the mental clarity and the emotional benefits of getting on this water have just been profound. So, you know, for me, it's all about that. And I'm just excited about the future of it. I'm really working now on getting more business-minded people coming on board. You know, my man Bickford, I cannot wait for this kid to come on because he's 30-some years old, in his early 30s. The kid, I really identify with him on a lot of levels. He's misunderstood. He's so authentic. He's so real. He threatens people just by being truthful, just by being, and I'm that same way. And there's no intent, of course, but you know, to be able to present yourself in a way that is no nonsense, let's get right to the truth of it. You know, people like to dance around and kind of placate things and kind of put it off. And, you know, my man's going to come on board when he does, and I can't wait to roll with him. It's just understanding, you know, and then a guy that played ball for my dad back in the day popped up out of nowhere, ran into him over the last couple, you know, several months, and hadn't seen him since I was a kid. He's working on getting a machine. And I am jazzed because this guy was an all-state guard on their state championship team, and I revered him. I was a ball boy in the 4th grade on that team, you know, and now this guy and I are getting ready to go into business together. Can you, I mean, get an idea how just thrilled I am to be able to work with this guy and to be on the same team when he was like smooth like maple syrup on pancakes as a ball handler, and he just smooth, man. This guy was like melted ice cream. It was just really nice. And yeah, I have the opportunity to work with him. Him knocking on his late 50s and I'm knocking on my early 50s, you know. So I'm just really thankful for, you know, so many things that this water's done that it's opened up, and it's helped me meet the caliber of people I've met, yourself included. You know, to meet somebody like you and to have so many things in common in just conversation, to recognize your heart and your compassion. That's me, man. And I don't apologize for it. I've been ridiculed for it. I'm soft. I'm a sap. Yeah, whatever. I don't care. I love people. I love life, and I want anybody in my world to benefit from something that I can give them if they need it, you know. And this water's made me look way smarter than I really am, I'll tell you that.
As far as the whole sap thing and that kind of stuff, I wear that kind of thing as a badge of honor. My nickname's Helen, and you know, Helen Keller. That came about because I'm deaf and blind. But you know, I may be deaf and I may be blind, but I can see and I can hear. And
Yeah.
That's why I do what I do, and that's why I am the way I am. I cry about everything. I cried at the end of Rocky V, for crying out loud. You
Yeah, I cry when I'm happy more than I do when I'm sad, really. If I'm in pain and I'm dealing with stuff, I try and handle it, but when I'm happy and I see something absolutely beautiful, man, I am the biggest wuss, man. And I don't care. I look at it as a strength too. I mean, I've always been this way. Again, I've been ridiculed by it. What am I going to do it as a guy? God bless you, Rachel. Isn't that funny? As a guy, that doesn't go over very well. When it comes to, all the macho man, Randy Savage, Marlboro man guys out there trying to be too cool for school. You know what I mean? I'm out there just being raw and transparent, and a lot of people don't know how to take me. But the people in my world, the people that understand me, or by the grace of God, the people that I'm meeting, I'm getting through that quicker because they see that level of authenticity and they actually embrace it. They don't run from it like I'm going to expose something I'm not trying to expose. I'm trying to help them, But then again, you think about it just conceptually, those who are afraid of the truth are usually living lies, whether we consciously know it or not. So it's not to be judgmental, it's to be observational, saying there's no way around that. You can dance that around, you can church that up, you can frost it up any way you want. At the end of the day, that's the reality.
Yeah.
Only people living lies are threatened by the truth.
Yeah.
And this water is kind of a truth serum. You find out what people are about and what their priorities are. And a lot of times it ain't them,
So that this has been awesome. You and I have been talking about Kong and water now for a year, and I've heard a lot of your stories and that kind of stuff. And I'm really happy that you were able to come on here today and jump in at the last minute, the 11th hour, as you say. And I've actually gotten to learn even more about your story, which makes me even more impressed and makes me love you even more, brother. And but now I want to get to and I'm really excited to hear this question, and you know what this question is, but I want to know, because this is one of my favorite questions to ask every guest, and everybody always has a different outlook and a different thought process upon this particular question, and that, it's one that I just love hearing the answer to, because it always ends up giving us golden nuggets that we can utilize as we move on down the road. And so you've got somebody that's potentially interested in Kong and water, and you've got one thing that you get to say to them about it. What is it?
What if this machine really did for the body what I'm telling you? What if? If you believe in that even remotely, pull the trigger. If not, if I can maybe down the line, in the education process, because again, it's not like something that this ain't like buying a car. We all know cars, we all know technology. We don't know anything about this. So at the end of the day, we are dealing with something that is really new to people on a paradigm level. And, I always just say, what if this really works? I can tell you, I've told you all the stuff that it's worked for other people. What if this could do for you what this is doing for others? And that's all I can tell them, really. You can't force them to buy it. You can't force them to believe in it more than you do. You just want them to get at least enough of an operational, conceptual grasp of it, and then try and find a way to implement it. And that's why I give the water away. But to me, it's always what if? What if this water could really did what you want it to do for you? Because it's doing everything and more for the people who do get machines. It's doing everything and more for them. What if you had the opportunity to be in that position? Yeah. Sometimes they get one, sometimes they don't, and then they pop back a few years later. They're ready to party. I've got so many people on the hook, just waiting for that right time. And I'm like, there's no better time than the present. We can wait and wait and wait. We don't want to be like my buddy's mom who wants to wait and wait and wait and then get, die because she didn't really understand the profound nature of this water. And I still think about her every once in a while. Wonderful gal. It's just a terrible way that whole thing ended. And I had a different script for her and it didn't play out that way. But again, it's not me. I can't do that. You know, we can't do that. We can only open the doors, and hopefully people get savvy enough to understand it that they can walk through them themselves, you know.
Yeah.
And so that's how I look at it. You know, what if this really was able to do for you what it's doing for other people? I know it's going to, but I need them to understand that.
Yeah, exactly. You know, people have to care for their own health. You know, like Sam Tran has said before, we can't care more for people's health than they do. We can be maybe more heartbroken over their plight than they are, but you know, we can't force them to do something that they're not willing to do. It's just like you can't force somebody to go into you know, therapy or whatever for alcoholism or something like that, or drugs or whatever. If you force them into it, you know, like I've got a really dear friend who just desperately needs this water, and I took it up to her, and I told her, I'll bring it to you if you just drink it. You just got to reach out to me every 2 days, and I'll bring you more, or you can come with it, whatever. But she drank it for a couple of days, and that's it. But she went into alcohol rehab for 40 days, and the first thing she did when she got out was went to the liquor store and bought herself a big bottle of vodka. And you know, that's just her issue. She's got all kinds of issues, and she's just not willing to help herself, and she's been so close to death so many times. And you know, now I think she just wants to die because her husband, they didn't actually end up getting married, but they should have. But anyway, he ended up waking up one morning. He's in his early 50s. He woke up in bed, sat up, looked over at her like this, and went, and he was literally dead before he hit the floor. He had a massive, massive heart attack, and he was dead before he hit the door. And I was bummed out because I had tried a couple of times to swing by their house about this water and get them some water and talk about it. And each time I swung by, they were never there. And so they never worked out. And then the next thing I know, he's dead. And so it's a really hard thing for us to deal with, because we know that we have the solution to people's problems and the answers to their prayers. But, you know, that's kind of what this is all about. Because you know, like I've said before, I got involved with this because of a story. It wasn't because of a bunch of facts and figures or, you know, data or anything like that. It was simply an incredible story from a young angel named Brittany Dykes, who her story turned on my light bulb. And that's, you know, now my life has changed forever. And so that's part of the main reason why I put this together, and why, you know, I teamed up with you, Shawn, so that we could get out there and get stories out. And because we just never know who's going to resonate with who. We never know what story is going to turn on whose light bulb. And so the best way to deal with that is just to keep putting out stories. Just keep them rolling, keep them coming day after day after day after day after day after day. It's only a matter of time before it resonates with somebody. And there might be somebody that's been listening in today, and they're feeling the love, and they're feeling the humor, and they're thinking to themselves, man, this is the kind of cat that I really want to work with. I don't know where the hell he came from, but I know he lives up there in Montana, and I hear they'll let anybody live up there in Montana and all that stuff. So, you know, I want you to give out whatever info. You know, this is the last part of our show every time is I want people that resonate with our guests. I want them to be able to get a hold of those guests if those guests are willing to indulge. And so I ask everybody at the end to give out whatever information they want to give out, whether you've got websites, whether you got phone numbers, whether you got Facebook information, you know, Twitter handles, you know, whatever you want to give out. And I also want to mention to the people that are listening in, that are going, hey, I got to reach out to this cat Wetzel, man. He rocks, and I want to get to know him. Just please, if you're going to send him a message, whether it be email or Facebook or Instagram or anything else, will you please just do him the common courtesy of letting him know why you're sending him that message. There's a lot of scammers out there. There's a lot of scams going on these days. And so, you know, I get a lot of friend requests from people that I just end up deleting their friend request because they won't tell me why they sent me a friend request, and I want to know. And so, you know, if you send a request or an email or a text message or whatever, will you please just do him the common courtesy of letting him know why. Tell him, you know, I ran into you on that show, the Kong Family Show. I saw the YouTube replay from 2 years ago, and I really want to. I'd love to get to know you and work with you, whatever. You know, just let them know why. Okay, will you please do them that? And then, you know, with that said, Shawn, will you go ahead and just give out to the people that are going to be listening in down the road How do they get in touch with Shawn Wetzel?
Well, it's funny because, you talk about Kong's water, Kangen 9.5. I like how you did that. I always thought that was cool. Seeing it on your truck was even cooler. But for me, Wetzel, this water hydrates 6 times more effectively. So it's literally wetter water. It was a play on my name. Instead of Wetzel, Wetzel, I just went Wetcell, Wetzel water. I've got wetzelwater.com, .info, .org, .net. That's my websites. There was a time back in the day where, I might have been about half nervous to give out my phone number, but there are so many scammers out there that are calling me, talking Chinese to me right now in these robocalls, and I don't know how my numbers got out there, so I don't think it's going to hurt anybody or hurt me anymore to, if it's important to leave a message, but, I used to be pretty on the ball and I'd answer any phone call that came. Now, if I don't recognize the number, I'm like, if it's legit, they'll leave a message, But yeah, my phone number is 406-690-9590, or as we like to say up here in Montana, 406-69-959. Share a little cultural perception with you. That's my number. My Instagram handle is at I think it's Kangen 2019. Yeah, I mean, availability is everything for us, as you well know, and just wanting to be available for people at any point in time is really a priority for me. So yeah, those are pretty much my email is, I've had it years ago. No, I'm probably not going to share my email. You can get that from me personal. I actually want to change that. I want to go through EWS and do something at wetzelwater.com. My email kind of suggests something that we're not supposed to do with respect to Enagic and make claims. I thought it was a catchy name, but at the end of the day, I'm working on changing that and getting something a little more, proper and without bringing any attention to me. But yeah, that's the idea, man. I just want to be available. I want to be able to be a resource for people. I've always tried to be a foundation of trust, a foundation of credibility, a foundation of hope for people. And that's just what I do. And Kangen's really allowed me to talk about, answered prayers. Kangen water is prayer in action. That's the best way I can look at it. Kangen water is absolutely prayer in action. And if people are in the 11th hour, people are struggling, instead of waiting around for God to strike them with a lightning bolt of good fortune, I think people need to get more interactive with their faith and be more accountable to their faith and realize God isn't going to strike you with the lightning bolt while you're sitting on the couch drinking a warm Hamm's beer and stale popcorn watching a movie that's just a waste of time. God helps those people that helps themselves and have faith in him. And so I'm just hoping that with something like this today, and again, you're too kind to interview me. It's funny, I never really thought about interviewing me. It was just about other people, but I'm really humbled to be able to acquiesce your request this morning. I just wanted to use that big word to show you my profound vocabulary. It's pretty deep. No, I'm just really grateful that we switch gears on this, and maybe I'll turn the table and do it for you here one of these days down the line. But yeah, I just really thank you for having me do this. I think it's good. I'm going to definitely send it to some people that I know. I'll probably get in trouble from some of my people because you talked about my story online here now, and I'm like, yeah, that's right. I did deal with it. It's all out of love. It's all out of prosperity. It's all out of hope. You want to turn it into something that's exposing you? Well, you might want to come into the light a little bit and quit hiding out in the darkness of denial. Because denial is not just the pro bull riders circuit that comes through Montana every fall. Denial is a real mental presence of not wanting to face things that we should face, So, that's how I look at it. It's called The Nile, Nile, and it's a total bull riders deal. And we got some of the most bad apples bull riders around the world coming up for that thing. So it's a big draw. But denial is not just the pro bull rider circuit. It is a mental condition that doesn't allow people to deal with what they need to deal with. And hopefully I can help them in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, I love it. Hey, Paul, I just wondered, we're getting ready to jump out of this joint because we all got a bunch of work to do today, but do you have anything that you'd like to add to this, or any last comments for Shawn or anything?
No, brother, you guys, I'm thanking both of you for coming into my life. I told my buddy Dan yesterday, you guys, JJ, you changed my life, dude. So I love you both, man. Thank you much for having me on here with you guys. I love it.
Nice. Now, and look, bottom line is we can only throw passes. You're out
Amen.
there, and not you can hit people right in the back of the head, and they're like, "Hey, you hit me in the head with that pass," and I'm like, "Well, it helps to put your hands up."
Amen.
Nobody wants to put their hands up and catch the pass. Bottom line is we're throwing passes like John Stockton to Karl Malone to anybody out there running the break with us.
Amen. No, I went yesterday and reserved the banquet room at our local pizza joint where I started some demos last year, but it didn't work out. So I'm going to give it a try again this year and see what happens.
Nice.
So I'm excited. Yeah, man.
No, God bless you. I just appreciate you putting up your hands like Jerry Rice looking for that. You caught the pass.
Thanks, brother.
And you being willing to catch our passes, it just makes us want to throw each other the ball more. And that's
Amen.
the idea, man. JJ
Amen.
and I are now on this squad, and we're growing our own squad within a squad. And
Amen.
I'm just honored to have a guy like you on board doing your thing. I want nothing but absolute prosperity and wellness in abundance for you and anybody else out there willing to catch the passes we're throwing, dude. So
Ditto. Yes, sir.
We've all got our story. It's just a matter of time before we all start to see that success and see, the abundance that Enagic's given us. And yeah, I'm just trying to ride this train, and like the group Blackfoot, the train, take me on out of this town.
I got to go find me one of them JJ hats today.
Well,
that's awesome, dude. We're going to all have those, JJ. That's radical.
I mean, I need to get some of those made up and have them say "Got Kong" right here.
Right. That'd be awesome, dude. I'm going to find one of those today.
There
we go. My brother got his Gardu going.
Wild man alert.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Look at that guy. Woohoo!
Paul, I got to mention something to you, brother. I appreciate the kudos, but the truth of the matter is it's just like with Kangen water. It's not Kangen water that changes people's lives. It's their machine. It's them. They're the ones, this is the machine that changes lives right here. It just gets what it needs, and all I did is just kind of, like Shawn said, threw you a pass and you caught the thing, and it's you who's changed your life. It's you who has done all the changing. I'm just here, just like Thomas always says in the morning motivation, we're just here to help people, but they have to help themselves. And the truth of the matter.
Hey, may I help? I don't know. Look, you guys, I want every distributor out there, every new machine owner out there needs to get their hands on this Kangen water protocol. It's from a gal out of Spokane named Dr. Peggy Parker. She's a natural doctor. She's wonderful. But this right here is amazing. And she put this together. This is dealing with so many things. I mean, it talks about the importance of pre-filtration, skin conditions, hair, scalp care, eye health, ears, nasal, oral health. There's so many just absolute wonderful uses of this water above and beyond the drinking that are in this thing. And her website, I just want to share it with anybody. I used to be able to get it on Kangen One Info. I think with Kostica, my man Jerry does his gig with Kangen One Global. But her website is simplehealthnetwork.com. And yeah, I encourage any and all distributors on the planet to get their hands on this, because it is an amazing 39-page resource of just what's on the table with the other dimensions of the water. So that's my little plug for somebody else out there. I want everybody to have that, and I hope Dr. Parker sells a ton of those just by virtue of my throwing her a dime.
Yeah, I love it, Shawn. You know, that's what it's all about, brother. It's all about helping people. It's all about sharing the love and, you know, like you say, throwing the passes. I mean, that's, I just got to tell you, man, after having you on the show today, I love you even more than I did before. And I'm you know,
Love you right back, big fella. For
continuing
real.
look
Yeah.
forward to work together to change this world, because the truth of the matter is that we are the Kong family and we have this really simple goal. We just want to change the world. And how is it that we're going to do that again there, brother?
One glass of Conga 9.5 at a time, man. You know, listen, and doing it with love. I can't emphasize that enough. You know,
Amen.
just as guys, you know, we're so taught to be all, you know, like I said, tough and rough. And no, I think we need to continue to do a better job of really understanding what it's all about and be able to tell each other that we love each other in a way that, you know, builds and lifts and empowers each other. You know,
Amen.
we all got so many weird issues with our machismo and again, the conditioning and all that. I have no problem telling people I love them, even if it's on a real, just simple, general level. And I think if we do everything we do with love, we're going to be successful, you know, and that's it. Whether it's
That's the
this,
key.
whether it's anything else, love has got to be at the foundation of why we do anything when we want to help and be a part of people's lives and helping them turn it around. So, you know, that's my last nugget for the end of it all is just love. If love's the foundation of what we do and why we do it, we're going to be blessed. You know, that's it. And I just look forward to continued blessings, and I look forward to all the people that are getting ready to come on board. I'm just looking forward to serving them. And all those people that don't even know they're getting a machine yet, I cannot wait to serve them when they do, you know.
Amen. Amen.
That's it. So, yeah,
Right
JJ,
on, brother. Right on, man.
thank
Rock
you, man.
on.
Love you so much. And as usual, once again, we are the Kong family. We are going to change the world. And that's what we're doing. One glass of 9.5, one lightning bolt in a box, and one incredible individual at a time. And so, you know, just want to leave everybody, as we always do, with a don't forget your hugs, kids. Don't forget your hugs.
Have a good day, guys.
Have a great day. Go change somebody's life today, starting with
Amen.
much love.
God
Kid.
bless you guys. Thank you very much. Really grateful, really humbled, and I'm excited, man. Godspeed you guys, all of you today, and yeah, go be a blessing to somebody. That's what it's all about. If we bless other people, we're blessed. And I'm blessed by you, you wild man. Giddy up. Love you.
Brother.
Thanks, Rachel, for joining us, honey. Look forward to tomorrow. I'm going to come at you like Walter Cronkite, so just be prepared.
Okay. I'm nervous now.
Oh, man. You're going to be on the hot seat, like I said, like you're getting interrogated by, you know, special forces unit. You're just going to be
Yeah.
prepared.
Yeah,
So
and
buckle
I
up.
don't know if you saw my note in the chat there.
I did.
I think I'd look kind of funny with one of those hats on.
Hey, I tell you what, you could wear anything, and you're going to be way better looking than John or I. So you don't
Oh,
sweat it.
yeah. Oh, that's funny.
Hey, look forward to tomorrow. Thank you for the
Yes.
show today. Appreciate it. God bless you guys. Again, go be a blessing to somebody. That's what we're called to do.
All
Amen.
right. Have a good
Love
day,
you guys.
guys.
Have
We'll
a
see
great
you
day.
tomorrow.
Giddy up. Arriba.